The story everyone is talking about in the US today, and we have the latest updates right here. Welcome to USA News. If you don't want to miss what happens next, subscribe now. Here is what we know so far. US-Iran peace process hits major roadblock as critical talks are suddenly delayed. Just days ago, it looked like the world might be witnessing a historic breakthrough. For the first time in nearly half a century, American and Iranian leaders appeared to be moving toward a framework that could potentially end one of the most dangerous conflicts in the region. Expectations were high. Diplomats were preparing. Observers were cautiously optimistic. But now, the process appears to have hit a serious obstacle. What was supposed to be a landmark in-person signing ceremony in Switzerland has effectively fallen apart, and the next phase of negotiations has suddenly been delayed, raising fresh questions about whether this fragile peace effort can survive. The original plan called for senior officials from both sides to gather in Lucerne, Switzerland, where a memorandum of understanding would be formally signed. The event was expected to symbolize a dramatic shift in relations and set the stage for detailed technical negotiations. Instead, events took an unexpected turn. President Donald Trump signed the agreement remotely while attending events in France. Shortly afterward, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also signed remotely, creating immediate uncertainty about whether an in-person ceremony would still happen. Then came another surprise. The White House announced that Vice President J.D. Vance would no longer travel to Switzerland. Soon after, Swiss officials confirmed that the next round of technical talks had been postponed. Those talks were considered one of the most important parts of the entire process. While the memorandum established broad principles, the technical negotiations were expected to address the complex details of Iran's nuclear program, verification mechanisms, implementation timelines, and long-term security guarantees. Without those discussions, a final agreement remains out of reach. And behind the scenes, signs of growing distrust are becoming increasingly visible. Iran's leadership has made it clear that skepticism remains deeply rooted. Statements from senior Iranian officials suggest that many inside the government remain cautious about American intentions despite the signing of the memorandum. Public comments from key Iranian figures emphasized that any violation, perceived bad faith, or excessive demands could trigger a strong response. Iranian officials also signaled that contingency plans remain in place should the agreement collapse. That tough rhetoric highlights a reality many analysts have long warned about. Signing a document is often the easiest part. Building trust is far more difficult. Meanwhile, ongoing regional tensions continue to complicate the situation. Although the memorandum calls for the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on multiple fronts, reports indicate that violence involving regional actors has not fully stopped. Continued instability creates additional pressure on negotiators trying to move the peace process forward. The Trump administration has also signaled that some understandings between the two sides may extend beyond what is publicly written in the memorandum. Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that additional private understandings exist, emphasizing that actions, not words, will ultimately determine whether the agreement succeeds. That statement has only fueled further speculation about what exactly has been agreed upon and what challenges may still lie ahead. Public reaction has been mixed. Some observers remain hopeful that delays are simply part of a complicated diplomatic process and that negotiations will resume soon. Others worry that every setback increases the risk of misunderstandings, renewed tensions, and a possible collapse of the entire framework. Perhaps the biggest concern is time. Negotiators reportedly have only a limited window to transform the memorandum into a comprehensive and enforceable peace agreement. Every delay shortens that timeline and increases the pressure on both sides. For now, the future remains uncertain. The memorandum has been signed. The framework exists, but the difficult work of turning promises into lasting peace is only beginning. And as both Washington and Tehran navigate deep mistrust, political pressure, and regional instability, the world will be watching closely to see whether this historic opportunity moves forward or slips away. What do you think? Are these delays a normal part of diplomacy, or a warning sign of bigger problems ahead? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more breaking international news and analysis.